for Secrets of Strixhaven. 30 new cards, all coming to Arena into all the digital-only formats. And yes, that does mean Brawl. And of course, there's new legends for us to play with. And I'd say overall, the power level of Secrets of Strixhaven Alchemy is pretty high. I have not seen all the cards, but as a few of them were released, because they were shown through articles and Reddit, those were like the only two places to find them. Yeah, I took a look, and some of them look like they're going to be good and really buff, especially the X-cost spells archetype. So we're going to look at set Ysos. Ysos Sirius. That's the set key. At least it is on Scryfall, so we can look it up. And we're going to bring Twitch chat with us. Twitch chat, say hello, because we're going to record this for YouTube. Say hello, YouTube. They don't have to. You love the switch to YouTube voice? Yeah, it's where I have to put all my energy together. Hi, YouTube! Chat's gonna be on their best behavior, which means they're not gonna be on their best behavior at all. Ooh, I wonder if this art was supposed to be in the actual set. Honor to the Past has Jason A. Engel art. It's very cool of showing, here was the, I guess, a Blood Age warrior in the past, and here he is in the present. 3 mana sorcery, return target creature card with a mana value 6 or less from the graveyard to the battlefield. That's a very good reanimation spell. Bonus, it's an artifact. So this is actually a completely paper viable card. You could proxy this into paper and it would work exactly the way you'd think so. This does not perpetually change a card. It just makes it into an artifact while it's in play. I think this is pretty cool though. It doesn't give you the body of the creature, it just gives you the enter the battlefield and static abilities. Do I see myself playing this? Not outside of really specific builds. Yeah, it stops being a creature. It's literally just an artifact. But as I said, you could do this in paper if you really wanted to. If you were so desperate to do such a thing. You are told Devoted Druid is on Arena. Yes, this would go infinite with Devoted Druid because you would be able to put infinite -1/-1 counters on it to keep untapping it. It would also be able to tap for mana right away. Yet another card that goes infinite with Devoted Druid. Unbreakable Remnant, another Lorehold Spirit. 1 mana 2/1 Spirit Soldier. Okay, already a good aggro card. I could see putting this into some mono white decks. And it has Escape. Well, that's good for any of the Graveyard Matters Lorehold decks. An escape cost of 2 and 2 other cards is really good. When you cast a spell from your graveyard, all cards you own named Unbreakable Remnant get +1/+1. So if you were doing like a Lorehold Spirits, I guess, Alchemy deck, cool, you can run 4 of these. In Brawl, there's just 1, but it buffs itself each time it comes back. That's kind of nice. Also, good for like a Reanimator, just Recursion deck. Yeah, I like that. I don't think this is like busted. I think it's just, it is fine. It is a 1 mana 2/1, and it will find its way into decks that care about this graveyard stuff, like Kintorius. Galithul Galecaller. Okay, some of you guys already know Storm Crow, and some of you know Crow Storm. This is Crow Storm. Galithul Galecaller is a 2 mana 2/1. It has Flash and Flying. This is awesome for birds. Choco's gonna love this. Derevi's gonna love this. And whenever this creature attacks, it becomes prepared. And its prepared spell is actually kind of busted because Corvid Squall, which is Crow Storm, it is a storm. Conjure a Storm Crow into play. A Storm Crow is a 1/2 flyer. So, like, you play this, you flash it out turn 2, you attack with it on turn 3, you play a 1-drop, and then you Corvid Squall. You're getting, like, 2 flyers, and then it can attack again and continuously become prepared again. Yeah, I feel this is just a very solid flash creature that gives you good board presence. And the fact that this has Storm means you're going to get more copies and more copies and more copies. I could see this going into a bunch of different decks. You know where this actually might be really cute? I think Azula. Azula, because you, like, flash this in while she's attacking to make 2 birds, and then you've cast a bunch of spells, and then you just Corvid Squall after one of these has attacked. And you get a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah, cool. Interdisciplinary Studies is a 3 mana instant that learns. Learn is not really that relevant to Brawl or Historic. We already have good Learn cards. However, it is definitely relevant for Alchemy players. Seek a multicolored card just means, hey, grab a multicolored card from your deck at random and it puts it into your hand. So just draws one. And then Learn is either take a lesson from your sideboard, put it into your hand, and you could put, I don't know, the lessons from Avatar, or one of the really good lessons from Strixhaven, like Improvisation Capstone, and put it into your hand. You don't have a sideboard in Brawl. There's no learning in Brawl. What Brawl Learn does is you discard and draw. Learning! So overall, yeah, might see some Alchemy play if there's, I don't know, a thing they're doing with lessons. I don't actually think lessons are very good in Alchemy. But I don't know. Corpse Weaver Prodigy. 3 mana, 2/4 with Death Touch. It is a Treefolk Warlock. Interesting. Looks like a Dryad to me. But you know what? We've got, I guess, a Treefolk visiting Arcavios and helping in the swamp. I think it's the first Treefolk we've seen there. It has Death Touch. If a creature an opponent controls would die, exile it instead. And at the beginning of your second main phase, if you gained life this turn, you conjure a Bridge from Below into your graveyard. Okay, so this is actually kind of crazy on a 3-drop. So Bridge from Below is a card that only does things, I think, from the graveyard. Bridge from Below. I remember when it got banned from Modern because it was part of the Hogak deck. This is Bridge from Below. Yeah, banned in Modern. Sure is. This is the card this is generating, and it is putting it into your graveyard. And this passive ability, you're going to see why this relates to Bridge from Below. This card is very specific, but kind of amazing in the right deck. It does all the things you want it to do, except for gaining the life. Whenever non-token creatures put into your graveyard from the battlefield, if Bridge from Below is in your graveyard, you get a 2/2 zombie. Whenever a creature is put into an opponent's graveyard from the battlefield, which it wouldn't, because this would exile it, you'd exile Bridge from Below. So this is genuinely like, it's all upside. Yeah, I say that in a specific like graveyard life gain deck, like, I don't know, Moseo, this is awesome. And I don't know, maybe you can do stuff with it in like Historic. It's probably too slow. I don't know. I don't know what Historic's like. There's a huge Historic tournament coming up this weekend. I'm gonna watch it. Kenji said he changed his deck from Yawgmoth to something weird, and now I really want to see it. Feed the Bog. Feed the me. 2 mana with Replicate. Here, let me scooch that up. Replicate 2. Creature cards in your graveyard perpetually get +1/+1. Return a creature card with a mana value 3 or less from the graveyard to the battlefield. Okay, so it's an unearth that you can copy, because it has Replicate. And it buffs all the stuff in your graveyard. Huh. Replicate mentioned. Yeah, let me, exclamation mark, explain. Replicate. Come on, robot. Thank you. Here's what Replicate specifically says. It puts copies of a given spell onto the stack for each time you pay the replicate cost. You cast it multiple times if you can. It's like multi-kicker. But I think it technically copies the spell. It technically copies the spell. Which means that this stacks up and this stacks up. Because this is non-targeting, you do not need a valid card in your graveyard to cast it. Yep. Yeah, big recommission. I think this will absolutely see play in some Lurrus type decks. In fact, if you are running Lurrus as your companion, I think this card just goes in. The Amalia Lurrus decks are like, yum, 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 feed the bog. That's good, right? For them, not for me, because I don't play Lurrus companion. I could see putting that in Celeste. It brings back Celeste. Impose Hierarchy. It's an instant speed kill spell that destroys a creature with a mana value 4 or less. Listen, it's no fatal push. It also gives you information by gaining you life for each creature card in your opponent's hand. It doesn't show you the cards. It just says, hey, you gain 2 life, which tells you, oh, they have 2 creatures in their hand. That's cool. I don't think this is a kill spell that's good enough for anything outside of Alchemy. I think that we already have Fatal Push everywhere else. Fatal Push and Fetchlands. Consumed by History. A 2-mana sorcery that deals 3 damage to each creature. But also makes non-token creatures potentially return. I feel that this is going to see play. To me, the fact that you're giving Unearth 5 to the creatures you are blasting early is so inconsequential. It's like, whatever. This is a great way to stop super aggro decks and clear their board. It's like a Pyroclasm Plus. In fact, I would say the deck I am running Pyroclasm in, which is Clive, I will probably change to Consumed by History. Yeah, 3 damage to each creature. And tokens, they're just gone. 5 mana to, like, bring back the stuff that would be wiped by this is like, okay, maybe really late in the game that'll make a difference. Crescendo Conductor, a 2-mana 2/2 with reach. Whenever you conjure 1 or more cards, this creature becomes prepared. Notably, there is a 2-mana red creature that conjures every turn. It makes a... Actually, there's a whole bunch of ones that conjure. Dang. Yeah, I think my favorite conjure card, by the way, is the Ornithopter guy, the Thopterist. It's a little too strong. It shouldn't give the Thopters +2/+0. Yeah, Emporium Thopterist. You think this would be good when multiplayer is never released? Oh yeah, and this prepared spell gets his Bolt Wave, which is just damage to your opponent's face. Do I think this card is amazing? No, but I think that if you have a commander that conjures, like if we get a red Vivisa or if there's something I'm just not thinking of, cool, throw it in that deck. That seems like it'd be nice. Yes, there are ways to conjure multiple times a turn. And there's like, oh gosh, the like Tome of the Archive or whatever. Tome thing. That works. Tajik conjures. Tajik conjures. Put it in Tajik! That card's already busted. Goat Napper conjures. They nerfed the Goat Napper, though, because of me. No, I don't actually know why. I think it's because everybody was playing it the same way, which is the first Goat Nap copy you use to turn him into a goat, because he untaps himself. Pomody Infinite! Thank you! You know the name of cards, Disco Dragon. On to green, Algorithmic Ferocity. A 1-mana sorcery. Until end of turn, target creature you control gains Indestructible sorcery. And +1/+0 for each card in your hand with a mana value 4 or greater. So gives your opponent a little information, gives a buff, and then it fights. So this is a sorcery speed 1-mana fight, which is actually fine. But it's more like a bite because it gives Indestructible. I could see playing this in a bunch of different decks where I'm already running 1-mana fights and bites. Maybe throw it into, like, Finn. It's just like a good 1-mana sorcery speed bite. Legolas would like this. Legolas would like this. Ursine Guide. Another bear for my school. I love bear school. Over in Arena, you guys haven't seen this yet if you're watching on YouTube, but I've played a bunch of a silly deck that is a Doc Arlock standard Brawl deck. Sorry, I know chat's in the way. It has bears. And bears in it. Yay, bears! But wait, more bears! Ursine Guide, 3-mana, 3/3. This creature enters prepared. Whenever you cast a spell that isn't from your starting deck, which would include, say, prepared spells, or conjured spells, or spells you steal from your opponent, you conjure Bear Cub onto the battlefield, and this creature becomes tapped. And what's Ranger's Merit? A 5-mana sorcery. Put +1/+1 counter on each bear you control that gain trample until end of turn. It's a shame I can't put that into my standard Brawl Doc Arlock deck because this is an alchemy card. Yeah, spellbook spells, drafted spells, because you usually draft from a spellbook. Yeah, this creature becomes prepared. So this This spell, it lets you cast it over and over because it enters prepared. And like casting this causes it to be prepared again. This is so weird that they bother saying this creature becomes prepared. Because like it prepares itself. Yeah, Bear Cub is a bear. As in it is a 2-mana 2/2 bear. Right? One sec, let me grab the actual card. Oh, Ruben, thank you for the sub. Bear Cub. Yup. No, not Owl Bear Cub. Bear Cub. 2-mana 2/2 bear. What do you mean it's standard legal? The hell do you mean it's in Foundations? Every time I turn around, they add another card to Foundations. Every time! Anyway, this is cute for bears. Variable solutions. Oh, right. Because this just spits out bear cubs over and over, I could see putting this with something that casts cards from outside your deck. There's not that much green crime where I'd throw it in there. Free bears! I should be saying these things instead of just thinking to myself, free bears. Variable solutions. This is a callback to multiple choice. If multiple choice were good. This is X green. This is going to go into Zimone. If X is 1, seek a basic land, put it onto battlefield tapped, which means you're paying 2 mana for a essentially randomized rampant growth. You don't get to choose which basic you get. If X is 2, each opponent sacrifices an artifact of their choice, if they have artifacts. If X is 3, you conjure a random creature card with a mana value X into the battlefield till you Momir. And if X is 4 or more, you gain 2 life and do all of the above. If you are paying X is 4, this is a great card. If you were doing X is 2, this is a great card. And the random value on it just makes it fun. I like Momir effects. I know other people don't, but I do. And I think it's a cool card, and it will go into my X Cost Matters deck. Advanced Floral Invocations. A class? Huh. Classy. Whenever a land you control enters, you mill 2 cards. Okay. Fill up your graveyard. Whenever a land you control enters, creature cards in your graveyard get +1/+1. 6 mana. You may play lands and cast creature spells from your graveyard. If you cast a spell this way, that creature enters with a finality counter. Gross. So I'll put that in the Gitrog monster and a couple other places. I have to remember, this is not mono green. This is green black. If you were playing, I guess, mono green alchemy, you could put it into the deck, but it does have a green black color identity. Yeah, I mean, this and Ice Till Explorer are just like shaking hands. Huh, neat. Golgari Reanimator decks are probably gonna like this. Yeah, I could see throwing this as like a backup in Muldrotha if you have a creature-oriented Muldrotha deck. Yeah, but I would say Gitrog Stonks. I'm always on Gitrog Stonks. Anina Natural Parallelist. Parallelogram. More Momir. I actually really like that they're like, Quandrix can do Momir things. Quandrix can do Momir things. 3 mana, 1/3. Whenever you cast a spell with X in its mana cost, conjure a random creature with mana value X onto the battlefield. Cool. I like it. Tap to add blue and green. Use it to cast X cost spells. You know what? Instead of revisiting Zimone, maybe, because we are getting an updating to the matchmaking, maybe I'll make an Anina deck today. That could be fun. I like Momir. She ramps. She gets me random critters. I like it. Yeah, it's the non-token Momir. It's the alchemy type Momir. Is Merit Lage in Arena? Yes, but Merit Lage is a token, so it can't be got by this because it is a creature card. Yeah, I'm probably going to end up calling this thing anime. Like, I can already tell. Anina? One Anina. Normalize saying parallelist? No. Archaeomancer's Spade. Call it what it is. It's a 3-mana artifact. When it enters, you seek 2 cards with flashback from your deck and put them into the graveyard. And you can tap to add 2 colors to cast spells that are not in your hand. Interesting. I guess in very lower hold specific decks, this is good. I think it's kind of cute that it puts cards into graveyards for you. Saying that's not a spade. It looks kind of like a gardening spade, but with like a weird edge to it. Funky. Blood Age Muster. Mustard. 2 mana enchantment. Whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard, conjure a random card from its spellbook onto the battlefield, and it is a 2/2. You can do this once a turn, meaning once yours and once your opponent's turn. This is still a good enough ability. This is like a mini Contorius. Put this in your Contorius deck. Here are the spirits it can make. It can make... Oh, Craptacular!
Scraps.
I can't. She's not in the room, but she'll come back later. She was here earlier. Thank you, Craptacular, for the 50-month resub. Blood Age General. I remember how useless the spirits archetype was in the original Strixhaven. Haste Horse. Fuming Effigy. Oh, look, it's like more synergy with it. Pillar Drop Warden, which can, you could sacrifice it to bring back a spell and trigger that again. Spirit Mascot grows as things leave. Stonebinder also grows as things leave. Stonebound Mentor. Scries. Cool. Stone Docent. You can have that leave your graveyard after it's died. Stonerise Spirit, it flies. Nice. Can also exile more cards. And this one, Summoned a Dromedary, can return from your hand, but it is a 2/2 with Vigilance. That seems very good. Very good if you're already playing around the stuff leaving your graveyard archetype. Yeah, if you want to see cards that work well with this, check out my Contorius deck. Things that draw and discard, you can cast from the graveyard. Things that exile as they hit the graveyard. There's so many ways to synergize with the lore hold stuff. Distracted Botanist is about to get eaten. This is a frog druid. It is a 3-mana, 3/2 Death Touch lifelink. When it dies, permanent cards in your graveyard perpetually gain. When this permanent enters, you may draw a card and gain a life. Oh, that seems good. Another part of like the Golgari Reanimator stuff, and it has like life gain. I'm trying to think of which cards I would put this with. Like Grist. The Grist that cares about things leaving the graveyard. Yeah, this is any permanent too, so Ice-Till Explorer. Oh god, it works with Ice-Till Explorer. Okay, put it with Ice-Till Explorer. That card's dumb. What else is new? Expansive Reapplication. I'm expanding my mind. We have an X cost counterspell, multiple of them. This one's better. X, green, blue. Counter target spell. Conjure a random creature card with mana value X onto the battlefield. This is not counter target spell unless your opponent plays X. That's not what it says. It just says counter target spell, conjure a random creature card. I think they meant to say counter target spell unless opponent pays X. It is a hard counter with some hearthstone on it. So it is, yes, it is minimum 3 mana because X can't be 0. And it gets you a 1-drop. A random 1-drop if your casting for X equals 1. Yeah, it feels really good to me. Especially in decks like Zimone. Zimone suffered from not being very good at protecting herself, so this helps. Why can't X be 0? Because then this would be way too good as a counter spell. Yeah, so this is definitely like, oh, a very nice cancel. Yeah, of course I want the random spell. Glorifying Verse. Yeah, and instant speed Momir is also cute. Glorifying Verse. 1 mana enchantment with Exalted, meaning if you attack with a single creature, it will get +1/+1. for each instance of it Exalted, which is important because whenever you cast an instant or sorcery that targets a creature, you get another glorifying verse in your hand. I don't love this just because it is an enchantment that is part of an instance and sorceries mattering archetype. So, yeah, whatever. Maybe you can play this with Killian. And Grave Studies, a 2-mana instant that makes Teacher's Pest. Teacher's Pest being the skeleton pest that gains a life when it attacks and can be brought back into play for 2 mana. It's like a reassembling skeleton ++. And then each player sacrifices a creature. Oh, that's so cute. So this is a instant speed edict that gives you something you can bring back. That's very cool. It also gives you a death trigger. I would say that if you're doing Golgari Sacrifice and you are running some symmetrical edict effects, including things like your Fleshbag Marauders, this is a very good card in that. If you have a Blood Artist effect in play, this is nice, and it gives you the Teacher's Pest that you can bring back. Here, I'll bring up Teacher's Pest so you guys can see what it actually looks like. It is a 2-mana, 1/1. When it attacks, you gain a life. It has Menace, and you can pay 2 to return it to the battlefield tapped, reassembling skeleton style. Also, this is Moseo's pet. Her name is Renata. All right, we got 9 or 10 more cards here. Head of the Class. This is a Kithkin that must be visiting from either... Okay, based on the art, I think it's visiting from Lorwyn, because it looks like it's doing a mind magic thing, which is a Lorwyn Kithkin thing, not a Dominaria Kithkin thing. It is a 2/2 or 2. The first spell you cast during each of your turns that targets a creature. Oh, and it doesn't have to be instant or sorcery. It costs white and black less to cast. The effect only reduces the colored mana you pay. Okay, that's awesome. Wow, that's a really good card. Also, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery that targets a creature, this creature perpetually gets +1/+1. Wow, yeah, so this works. This part works for auras. The repartee does not. Yeah, this feels very good for Orzhov spells that target. Free Killian's Confidence? Yeah, it gives you a free Killian's Confidence cast. Say that 10 times fast. Inspiring Easel. Is the easel making the painting? Weird. 2-mana artifact that taps for 1 mana of any color, but only for instants and sorceries. You can also tap to choose an instant or sorcery in your hand to make it cost 2 mana more. That's what incorporate red-blue means. And it gains when you cast the spell, copy it. Ooh, an on-cast trigger. You can only do that as a sorcery. That's still really nice. I could see putting this into the Prismari deck that I put out there. Neat. They're putting AI and everything. Yeah, this Strixhaven student isn't being inspired by their easel. Their easel is just doing the painting, and they're like, wow, I painted such a good art of this bridge that I copied. That's kind of cool. The like copy on cast, even though it costs 2 more, is very nice. I could see putting that in a Rawl deck. Yeah. Paradigm Shifter. Ooh, I like that there's like a clay throwing sculptor here, somebody working the pottery wheel. I feel like that's a part of Prismari we haven't really seen. We've seen like painting, we've seen dancing, and we've seen summoning things, but we haven't really seen that much throwing. 3 mana 2/2. When it enters, conjure a spell of your choice from the Paradigm spellbook into your hand. You can tap for 2 mana to cast instants and sorceries. All right, what's your spellbook? Oh, wow, it's these. Dude, this card's cracked. I've been putting into like every deck. Well, we've seen sculpting, but most of the sculpting we've seen hasn't been like pottery sculpting. We've seen more like big magic stuff comes together. Yeah, it's Conjure, Red Capstone, and Ramp for instants and sorcery stacks. Cool. I would also probably put this into, like, Zephi, because it gets you one of the best spells for Zephi, and I would probably also put this into Prismari. Yes, you get to choose, and most of the time, you're probably choosing this, but if you choose Echo Casting Symposium, you can get more copies of the Paradigm Shifter. We're thinking here. Phoenix of Iteration. Yeah, there's absolutely something stupid you can do if you have all your creatures getting haste and you have like a Displacer Kitten in play. Don't worry about it. Phoenix of Iteration. There we go. 2 mana, 2/1 flying. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, Phoenix of Iteration perpetually gets +1/+1. If 5 or more mana was spent on the spell, you may exile it and return it to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control, which triggers even if it's in the graveyard. Nice. Okay. So no matter what, if you're Spellslinging, this is growing. And if you cast a 5 mana plus spell, instant or sorcery, it comes back into play. I could see this being very good in a Spellslinger deck. Now, I mentioned before, I don't think Lessons has a current thing. But if you had like a 5 mana plus spell that you were casting and you're slinging spells otherwise, that could be really cool. The problem is like the first part, that's actually kind of par for the course. That's like, it's like Sprite Dragon. The second part is cool because it's like, hey, you can't just be casting cheap spells, you also have to have big spells. I don't see playing this in a Brawl deck. I do see somebody probably trying this in Alchemy, though. A Scalar Scholar. What's it? 2 mana, 2/2 with increment. When this creature enters, each card you own with X in its mana cost perpetually gains the spell cost 1 less to cast. Neat. That's every single card in your deck. Because it says owns. Alright, cool. Another card for Zimone. This is great. Listen, that Zimone deck, it needed this. This is very good. You could blank it. You can. I like making X cheaper. Oh, you got an update for Arena? Here, I'll start my updating while we're doing this. Should pop up. Yes! Updates! Scintillating Encore! Target creature you control perpetually gets +2/+0. When that creature dies this turn, return it to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control. Okay. I mean, we've had abilities like this before. The only difference is this one is perpetual. I don't really care. It's
sub-updating.
Yeah, I don't usually play these effects unless they're stapled to like a land. Wapawks, thank you for the 50-month resub with the sub-update. Oh, another legend. Suvril, Patient Antiquarian, Orc Cleric. A 2 mana 2/3 with Vigilance. Stats. You tap and put 2 time counters on target non-land card in exile that was put there from your graveyard this turn. Wow, that's so many words. If it doesn't have suspend, it gains suspend. This is the Doctor Who card. This baddie is timey-wimey. You love this guy? Yeah, this looks like it belongs in the timey-wimey pre-con. Do I see myself playing this? No. But I think it's cool. Time counters, I don't know. It's one of those things where the best way to use this card is you exile a huge, awesome spell from your graveyard, and then you tap this to suspend it for 2. And then you get it for free in like 2 turns, which is really good. But it takes a lot of setup, and I don't know if I have the patience for it. Also, as somebody who had to work and work and work to get a Miracle deck, I think the fact that you can control your graveyard better than you can the top of your deck, and this guy is only 2 mana, means you can absolutely use this to cast, say, a capstone for free across time. It's just going to take some work. It's going to take some setup, but you can get there. He was inspired by Quandrix classes he took. Neat. That's why he has triangles. The Summit Fest closing ceremony. Oh, that's spring break for the college kids. 5 mana instant with a starting intensity of 3. Cover cast. Cover cast? Whenever you cast another instant or sorcery spell, if 5 or more mana was spent to cast it, this card intensifies. Does that include if it's in your hand? I guess. Add X blue and X red, where X is the intensity, and draw a card. Huh. So, at its base, it covers anywhere? Huh. Okay. Does it include itself? No, it says another. Okay. So it's a 5 mana, make at minimum 6 mana, draw a card. Huh. There's a place for this, I just don't know where it is. Maybe it was Zephi. This is like Opus if Opus was triggered from anywhere and your opponent doesn't even see it happening. I guess that's what it doesn't. It does not say what cover cast is. Sundering Sentinel, a 6 mana construct. It is also a 6/7 with a starting intensity of 2. When this creature enters, it deals X damage to any target and you gain X life, where X is this creature's intensity, and then it intensifies. At the beginning of your end step, exile the creature. At the beginning of your next upkeep, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. It gains haste. So this is like Obzidot. This is like Obzidot if it weren't a May ability. It's Boros Teysa. Yeah, but I'd say it's more Obzidot. But it has to leave during your end step. It doesn't give you a choice. Yeah, I don't care for it. Mostly because I can't use it to defend me. The Mystical Archive! Wait, that's a different thing. Land. As this land enters, draft a card from the Mystical Archive spellbook and exile it face down. Okay, so first of all, I hate that. Second of all, the spellbook is 25 select cards from the archives. Yep. Those ones. Okay, yes, Armageddon's one of them. You can pay 1 mana, tap this to add 2 mana in any combination of colors, so it's 2 mana for 2 mana. To spend it only to cast spells that aren't from your starting deck, which includes conjured cards, it includes stolen cards, it includes pretty much the stuff that you're doing in alchemy. And you can pay 2 and tap it at instant speed to put a card exiled with it into your hand, meaning this is card advantage on a land. Now, the land is colorless, but gives you the ability to get whatever the spell is. This is going to go into a lot of decks because it doesn't enter tapped. It doesn't matter that it taps for colorless too, because there's a lot of different things this is going to be useful for. Am I going to put this into crime decks? Yes. Yes, I am. I'm going to put this into Ragavan. Yeah, it's 1 mana, make a mystery card. 2 mana. No, it's 0 mana to make the mystery card. It is 0 mana, make a mystery card. 2 mana, put the mystery card into your hand. Yeah. Oh, people are talking about the syntax of searching. Yeah, I know that, like, chat's gonna be hard to read. Sorry, I don't have a way to, like, dark mode Scryfall easily. It would be helpful if they would, like, release a good actual gallery of these cards for me to look at. Oh, and that's all of them. Cool. Okay, those are the cards. Let's go play with them.